And my connection with my pottery, it's in me for so many years. And I watched my late mother do her work, and then I remember one day she told me and my sister Emma, Claudia's mother, she finally told us one day, I think you ladies are ready to be on your own.
Well, I grew up knowing pottery, from her. Basically, you always live with your grandma, so that's how I I just remember her as just always being busy with her pottery. Um, she she was still active when I was about 9 or 10. All my life, we would be around her pottery. We'd and not knowing that we were learning from her by helping her little helpers, that's what I every time I have a little memory, I jot it down. Okay, I remember her doing this. I remember going over here. I remember her using this. So um, she taught us indirectly, basically, how to do pots. And now it's all coming back to us. And me and my sisters are definitely gonna take this on. The way I remember her and the way I was taught by her is how I'm gonna continue on.
We have only counted back to my great great grandmother Benina. I'm sure it was before that. But from my understanding, she never really talked about her family in Zia to her daughters. So we don't really know how far it goes back, or if it goes back further. I'm sure it does, but we just can count from Benina to my great grandmother to my grandmother to my mom and to me. So that's as far as we can count back right now. But I love hearing stories, especially of my mom's when she was growing up, because my great grandmother, her grandmother, Persingula Gachapin, would take her to her sister's homes, and they would work together and help each other finish their pieces. One day, one sister would be sanding. One day they would be painting.
Sometimes they would go to one of the sisters who was ready to make pieces, so we would all go, and the kids would play outside, and the sisters would be working together indoors, and then we all eat together, and then maybe the next day we go back and we continue till they make all the pieces that they needed to make, and then another time we would go to another sister and they would help her with the sanding of the pottery. So we were always grandma was always taking me to all her sisters' house too.
So it's literally a
help out.
family affair.
Yeah.
My aunt Dominique Beta was a potter, and my other aunt Helen Herrera. She doesn't really do any pottery right now. She's an elder and is up in age, but she always sold under the portal as well. So I have those two family members who were very prolific, you know, during their time as potters. I remember watching them and seeing the work that they would do. In fact, even my dad would take my aunt to the portal and drop her off, and she'd spend the day there.
The pride that one gets, in this, seeing something that belongs to your family or that was done by your family, that brings a lot of pride. And
But you have to realize you were born with that
Yeah.
with that gift in you,
Right.
because of the generations that went on before us.
Yeah.
It's instilled in their DNA. So we were born and it was instilled in our DNA.
Darlene James, I'm from Palaca, Arizona. Live in Palaca most of my life, and I'm a fifth generation Nampeyo potter, still carrying on the traditional pottery making skills and everything, and Tewa and Hopi, Tewa corn clan.
Hi, my name is Melvin Avasi. I come from Palaca. I come from the village of Hano, and I am a great granddaughter of Nampeyo and a granddaughter of Fanny Nampeo, and I currently live in Phoenix, Arizona.
Pick the bowls because they are part of our past from our great grandmother Nampeo, and we're still trying to, like I said before, trying to keep up the traditional pottery making methods because nowadays a lot of it's being lost, I think, because there's not very many younger potters that are the granddaughters that are trying to keep it up, And from looking at these pieces, I'm really glad that they were preserved here at the Maxwell and that they're being taken care of because they are a part of our past and somebody needs to handle them with care.
From our great grandmother and her sister and our grandmother, my grandmother Fanny, and along with my brother's pottery there, James, is similar to my grandma's there. And it just touches my heart that I got to learn this pottery from my grandmother Fanny. And I do want to continue, and my daughters, they could start learning and continue it as well. But I really appreciate I'm really happy being here and appreciate Maxwell for holding all these potteries here that it really touches my heart to see them. And it touches my heart also that I learned it from my grandmother. She was my mother after I lost my mother when I was 11 years old. So she's the one that taught I and my brothers to do the pottery. And I really am thankful that I learned it.
Women, it's matrilineal in our culture. We have clans and whatever the clan that the mother belongs to, usually all the kids belong to that clan. So when people ask, what clan are you? Most of the Pueblo, some of the Pueblos have clans also. And so we're Corn Clan. Nampeo was a Corn Clan. And so it was just passed down like that. And the women, most of them were potters at one time or another. And it's still being carried on. And that's why we say we're still Corn Clan and we're still carrying on these traditions because of the importance of Nampeo having, being recognized as reviving the art of painting and redefining the shapes and all that of the pottery that she was making, and so that was what was kind of important to us about keeping it going and not to lose that because everyone and a lot of the tourists or people that come to Hopi know about Nampeo because she's like known worldwide and she's part of our history and that makes me want to continue to carry on that knowledge that she passed on to us and not for it to be lost and how the Corn Clan women are kind of like kept it up kind of like they didn't just let it like some of the potters from our grandmother and our aunts and the older potters, some of them, stop. Their families didn't continue on they made pottery, but a lot of them didn't continue it on with their own families. But the Nampeos have been surviving, for quite a while because of the importance of that name.
Yes.
And all the respect and the love and everything that people show, when they express how they feel about the pottery and her, the beauty of it and all that. And we look at it and we feel the same way. Mm-hmm. It all comes back to, they were, how they were able to have it survive this long. And so that's why we're really grateful to, see anybody's Hopi collection because I'm pretty sure we're going to find a Nampeo in there somewhere, some generation, since there's already like a 5th and 6th generation going on here. And, more or less we'll see our cousins, our aunts, our uncles, their pottery. And, we feel a lot of pride. Because clanship was real important, and it still is nowadays. And That's what we're trying to get across to the younger generation. But right now, I think that technology just kind of took over everything, and it's really hard to get them to go outside and explore nature. Like, I feel like we were the lucky ones because we, learned from our aunts and our great grandmothers and took us on hikes to where we can find the clay. Everything's from the earth. So slowly they started, it was just fun, but at the same time we were learning. We didn't realize it, but they turned the fun into knowledge that we were gonna be using later on in our life, but we didn't know that, but they did. Somehow they knew, and if we were willing to open up our minds and to absorb it all, then they knew that we would be the ones that would be the next generation or the future generation. And so right now it seems like it's hard to get our younger girls or potters, interested in that, thinking of it in that way, because it's not that important to them for some reason. They don't see it the same way we did. It's not. But we'll just keep trying, to ask them. You want to know any questions about it? Are you interested in trying to have one of us help you to, continue it on? And we don't want to lose it. It's your inheritance. Into the future, and because there's a lot of interest in our family pottery, and it's like an explosion of new collectors and new friends, and it's not just the collectors but our own friends and family that want a piece of our pottery. So that's a really good feeling that we're contributing to the whole community and to our friends and collectors and anybody that's interested in pottery.